brain leak.
Pit stains! Who has them? We do!
A little bit.
Ethan's showing them off. I just had a shower, so you can't see any of them, but they were there earlier. Welcome back.
They were.
Leakers. Laughers.
Hello.
No lovers today. Pure hatred.
No.
That's all I want.
Yeah. Yesterday was National Boyfriend Day. Who needs them?
Yeah!
Yeah, who needs them?
Yeah, tick that box.
Fuck them.
For fuck them.
Get them out of here.
I don't have a boyfriend and I don't care to.
Not at all. Welcome back, everyone. Hope you've been leaking well.
Yeah.
But I hope that you're all taking track of your leaks, you know? You should be
we should do
making sure that you're regular.
We should do a whole consensus of how many people watch this and in between episodes how many leaks they have, but then measure how much of a leak it is and then consolidate it all. You know how like video game developers come out and they're like 4 million people have played the game, 17 million people picked this choice versus this.
Yeah.
We should do that.
Yeah, we should.
It's like 400,000 people have watched the episode since last time. This many milliliters of fluids have been leaked.
Yes. Yes. Are they all the same fluid?
No, that's where we get the breakdown. So it's like, what class did you pick? Are you a pisser? Are you a discharge? Are you a puss kind of person? Are you leaking like cyst fluids?
God.
Blisters?
Speaking of leaks, I released a video yesterday or 2 days ago or something. I did tie-dye. And at the end of the video, I was like, I'm going to give away all of this tie-dye. So if you want it, blah, 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 blah. And I didn't realize this while I was making this. One, because I don't pay attention, but two, because I'm a filthy man who doesn't care about discharge. On the white denim pants that I got, I used a lot of red, specifically by accident in the crotch. they're just fucking like period pants. They're so bad.
Well, when it comes to tie-dye, you don't really get to choose where anything goes, right? You just tie it up and hope for the best.
Yeah, unless you like really know what you're doing, but obviously I don't. And so I was just like, yeah, we'll just go willy-nilly and then see how it comes out.
Oh.
And it came out poorly.
Willy-nilly? Why not virginally-nilly?
Oh my God, you're so right. I'm just...
The patriarchy has taken over society and everything. It's like... It's called mankind, not people kind.
Oh, man.
And
then I just said, oh man.
Oh, Bodo. And what another sister.
This is all horrible. But yeah, I made period pants by accident. Whoopsies.
Or
Whoopsie.
it was just destined to be.
Maybe.
Walk down the street with period pants. See how it feels.
Yeah. It's like remember and I think you should leave when they make the pants with the pee stains on them, and that's just how they're made.
Yeah.
I made that, but for periods.
Yeah. It does not
period havers all over the place.
It doesn't have to be periods. You could have got stabbed in the genitals. You could have got stabbed in the leg.
Yes, exactly. So when you're going around town...
To distract from the period. It's like, it's not period blood. I got stabbed.
Exactly.
And then you solve the problem.
And then you can keep going on about with your night because people won't look at you and be like, ha, period. They'll go, oh, no. Stab victim. I need to buy them a drink.
Exactly. Oh, crack the code.
We've figured it out,
Pit stains?
baby.
No. Oil change.
Yes.
I got my oil changed today. It was stressful, so I sweat a lot.
That would be crazy if people had to get their oil changed. Like in the sense of they suck all the oil out of you that your skin that comes through your pores and stuff, but you got to change it out.
Isn't that like a colonic?
I don't know. I don't know what a colonic is.
It's like it's like an enema. They pump you full of water and then pull out all your guts.
Whoa.
And then they like...
I think that feels good.
I mean, when I got a fucking colonoscopy, I've never felt freer and looser, baby.
At the end of it, did you go...
Yeah, when they're sucking it out, it's like. It felt like what it must be like when a clown car is emptied. And it's like, whoa, there's so much space in here. Whoa, and the fucking suspension's great now.
Man, it must be really sad for doctors who do specific. I don't know what the term would be. Like someone who specifies in colon stuff, butt stuff.
Colonoscopizers, I think.
Yes, the colonoscopizers. They're so desensitized to farts now. They're probably not even funny anymore.
Yeah. I wanted to bring up a point as well. I thought about this on the walk home from therapy today, that we're all gonna die and it doesn't matter. I thought about it. Everyone's like, oh, Sean's talking about shitting himself so much. When are we going to have an episode that doesn't talk about that? Surprise, it's not this one. But I was thinking that every time you fart, you're kind of farting on yourself. Like you're walking down the street, it's like, that hits your pants, blowback. That's all on your cheeks now. Little bits of poo come out every time you fart. Little poo particles, microscopic. So aren't we all shitting ourselves? Technically?
Just a little bit.
That's what... A little bit.
And that's really what brings us together as a species.
Yeah. Why divide?
So beautiful.
Common ground, people. Everybody poops. Except those people that have like colostomy bags or whatever, and it just goes into a bag and they just have to empty it out.
Oh, man.
Oh, I saw that. Have you seen that video of the lady who gets her food through a bag?
What? No.
She has a condition where I can't remember what it is. I'm pretty sure it's her intestines are trying to kill her. So she can't eat food regularly. So she has like a thing on her heart, and she has a bag that sticks into it, and all this, it's like a bag of IV, but it has calories in it, and it just goes into her blood while she sleeps. And then she wakes up and is like, I don't have to eat today.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Do people with stomas have to do that? I don't know.
I don't know what a stoma is.
A stoma is like this little hole that they put. Oh, it's like right in here.
Oh.
I don't know what this part of your neck is called, but like the little part where your throat connects to the torso.
Yeah, everybody press on your throat until you pass out right now.
Yeah. But that little part, when somebody smokes for far too long and far
and
too
they get
much,
the hole?
they have. Yeah, that's what it is. The hole is the stoma, and they have to like clean it out and stuff.
Is that when your voice box gets removed? Why do you need a hole?
I don't know. Let's find out. Jamie, pull it up. Why do we need stomas?
The collective we. I know why you get your voice box removed and have to do the voice box thing, but I don't know why you would have to get a hole in your throat. Other than you can't breathe?
Why would someone need a stoma? There are many reasons why you may need a stoma. Common reasons... No, go away. I don't want to subscribe. Common reasons include bowel cancer, bladder cancer, inflammatory bowel disease, known as Crohn's disease, or ulcerative colitis, diverticulitis, or obstruction to the bladder. The stoma can be temporary or permanent. No. But this is different.
Yeah, so a stoma is like a hole connector to a tissue organ.
A neck stoma. It's just called a neck stoma.
Yeah, idiot.
And they breathe through it.
But like, I get that, but why? Did their esophagus and their windpipe get blocked? Can they still eat through their mouth and down that pipe? Is it just for the windpipe? Like, I need answers, damn it!
Okay. If your mouth or oropharyngeal cancer is blocking your throat and the surgeon can't remove it because it's too big. Swelling. You may have swelling around your voice box or your larynx.
So that closes stuff off.
I guess so, yeah.
Then you need to divert traffic.
Yes.
Damn, that's rough.
But I wonder if people have to eat through the stone, or if they can eat normally. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no clue.
Does it just block the trachea or the esophagus at the same time? I'm throwing out the big words because I want to let people know that I know what I'm talking about.
I don't know. We gotta have Hank Green on here. We gotta ask him all these questions about how the body works, and we gotta say, "Hey, stoma, what's going on there?
Yeah, Hank. Tell us about the stomas.
What is happening there?
What is going on, Hank? Fuck! Tell us! Ethan, how do you feel about shaving your face?
Man, I hate shaving my face. Every
Why?
time
Because you pick a razor that blunts really fast and cuts your fucking face up?
Yeah, it's all filled with rust. I've got so much tetanus because of the razors. They don't ever do anything right. They're never sharp. They're terrible.
What if I told you one razor as sharp as the first time on 8th shave? The weighty handle German blade. Boom. Are you sold yet?
Oh, man. That sounds so expensive. I couldn't possibly afford that.
Oh, you silly sailor. That's $13 value for $3. How does that sound? Pretty good, I'm betting.
Just 3 smackaroos for all that?
3 smackaroos for the price of 13 smackadingles. You're right. Do the math. What kind of a percentage saving is that?
Big. Huge.
Big percentage.
Big percent. Oh,
look,
man.
You know what makes a great shave?
What?
It's a good razor, but it's also washes, lotions, shave gels. You gotta lube up your face before you shave that hairy mess off.
Oh, yeah.
I've got just the thing for you. I haven't even read out the name of it yet, and you're already sold in it. That's the power of Harry's. Harry's razors have got you covered. They got everything, baby. They got your face covered in shave gel, and then they get it not covered in hair.
That's crazy. If I wanted to get these shavers from Harry's, would I just have to go to harrys.com/brain for a $3 trial set?
You read the fucking description properly. Yeah. You go to harrys.com/brain for a $3 trial set. Go get it yourself. Saves you time and money. And it's going to save your face and get the honey.
Damn. Harry's. They made me handsome when no one else could. While you had a poop question on your way back from therapy, I had a question in therapy come up today that this is now about to get very real and deep.
Okay.
But I wanted to bring it up because I was like, I've never really thought about that before, and I wonder if other people think about this way. You know how you love somebody,
Sure.
right? Platonically or romantically.
Sure.
And my therapist and I were talking about self-love.
Half the audience are like, well, fuck, that's me out.
But you have love for a person, blah, 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 blah. And then we were talking about self-love today in therapy, which is a thing that I have a hard time with. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, am I supposed to feel the same feelings about myself that I feel for other people that I love? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, huh. I don't.
Like 100% or
yeah. And it was just a really interesting thing that came up in therapy, where I was just like, man, I definitely don't do that.
Yeah.
But it was very interesting to think about of the way that I perceive myself and how I struggle with loving myself and stuff like that, and how to even love yourself in that kind of way.
Yeah.
You know what
I mean, it's different because my love for Evelyn would be different than I think my love for myself, because it's Evelyn walks in a room and it's oh, exciting, wow, you brighten up the room. But it's I walk into a room with myself and I'm like, hey, let's go. But I definitely think, I mean, self-love is that one thing where it's that's what you're supposed to figure out. And if you find self-love and inner peace, and you can if you can love the things about yourself and find contentment with just yourself, then life and the world and everything is supposed to be easier. Because everything else is a variable that can change and fuck up your day. But shit's hard.
It is hard. And then what went off of that was the thought of the values that I have, and the things that I like about myself are technically about other people in a way. Like if I were to say nice things about myself, it's like, yeah, I think that I'm like a giving person or a thoughtful person or whatever.
Yeah.
But all of those are technically sort of like about other people, if that makes sense.
Oh, I get what you mean.
It's like, yeah, where it's like, I think I'm thoughtful towards other people and like I blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Or like I'm giving and I try and do things
Like-
for other people.
Like the things you like about yourself don't really exist without an other. So it's like, I think I'm funny, but it's like you kind of need people to laugh. Like you can think you're funny on your own, but unless people are laughing, it's like stuff that's kind of dependent on other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do I like about myself that isn't dependent on an other?
Right? And we were trying to come up with stuff in therapy and I was like, this is really hard.
Huge cock.
And yeah.
I don't need it. I don't.
But that benefits other people now, doesn't it?
Not always.
That's true.
I can't have fun on my own. I can't go Red Rocket all by myself.
The only one that I could think of was like, I think that I'm creative, but that's still like kind of benefits other people or whatever.
Well, I think it doesn't exclusively benefit other people.
No.
But trying to think of something that can't benefit other people, I think is impossible.
Yeah. But it was very interesting thinking about that and thinking about like, what are the things that I like about myself, and then listing those things out and then being like, okay, well, those make me feel good about myself and I'm glad that they're there, but none of those are like for me necessarily.
Yeah. I mean, that's the journey, baby. That's why you go to therapy. That's why we're on this big wave, this tidal wave about to decimate society. And you're on a surfboard fucking hanging 10, ripping tide, baby.
Oh, yeah, and then you see that barrel and you go, whoa, bam! That guy killed a guy.
And you flop your ears and say, whoopah!
Oh, wait, no, that guy didn't kill a guy. It was a different guy. Never mind.
He killed a guy?
I'm thinking of the hatchet guy.
Oh, yeah, he definitely killed a guy.
Yeah.
It was a few months back, like 6 months ago, I was watching Alien vs. Predator 2. It's not a good movie. I like it because I like Alien and Predator, and it's very stupid. It's a very bad movie.
Oh, are you going to talk about the scene where Predator looks at himself in the mirror and is like, I love you.
Yeah. And
I love you.
I love you and I see you. And then he does the big, oh! him and the alien just like stop and it's like, what if we made out over the dead person? I was watching that and I forgot there was the young guy and he's like blonde and he's a pretty good looking dude. And I was like, why haven't I seen him in anything else? And then I went down the rabbit hole and found out that he murdered his neighbor. I think it was like an old lady, or attacked her. I can't remember. I think he murdered someone. And I was like, oh, dude. He's like high on drugs and went off and killed someone. And I was like, dude, what the fuck? You had it all. You were in the shitty Alien vs. Predator sequel.
Alien vs. Predator 2?
Yeah, it's called Requiem. It's not called 2, technically.
Alien...
AVP Requiem. Don't spend time writing out letters you don't have to. Consolidate. Love yourself.
Well, I'm on IMDb. Ugh. Who does he play?
Johnny Lewis.
Johnny Lewis, huh?
Oh yeah, not only did he kill someone, he's dead.
Did he get killed in prison?
At the age of 28, Lewis and his 81-year-old landlady, Catherine Davis, were both found dead at Davis's home in Los Angeles. Davis is known in Hollywood circles for operating the rightist... Okay, that's not relevant to the thing. Police were called after Lewis violently attacked 2 people at the property next door, and he was heard screaming. Davis was found dead inside the house with severe head injuries. Her pet cat was also found dead in the bathroom. Like,
That's sad. Why do they gotta do that?
I don't want to read any more because we might get into like triggering territory, but...
Yeah.
I was like watching it and I was like, why didn't he go further? He had a good look about him. He was a handsome young man. And then I started reading that. I was like, oh no. You didn't just crash and burn. You crashed, burned, exploded, fucked everything up, barrel rolled, flaming pile crash into somebody else. Okay, he Final Destination.
Hello there. I'm coming to you from the year 1990. Why? Because I just got this old camera and I wanted to try it out. But that's not what this is about. This is about the wonderful people over at NordVPN. Do you have creepy crawly criminals? It's the Halloween season. You might have some monsters trying to sneak into your personal data. You might be at a coffee shop and you think that you're safe. You think that you're alone, but no, they're hacking into your things and they're getting all of your passwords and they're stealing your identity and now your whole life is about to be ruined. But don't be afraid, because NordVPN is here to help. NordVPN is a wonderful VPN service that gets you off the public spaces when you're on the public spaces. You know what I mean? With a click of a button. You know, these creepy crawlies, they think that you're here in California. They think you're in Los Angeles, right? That's where you are in this hypothetical scenario. The click of a button, boom, you're suddenly in Japan. They can't track you. You are untraceable. And NordVPN isn't only just great at keeping you and your data safe. No, they are also there to help you when you need it. You want to watch a show that's only available on UK Netflix? Boom. Suddenly, you're in London. You can have access to that. You want to watch all the sweet anime that Japan has? Boom. You're in Japan. You can watch all of the anime that you want. You want to even save on plane tickets? You can change your location and the prices will change. You can find yourself a better deal thanks to NordVPN. And not only that, Nord has some amazing deals with every 2-year plan purchase. It comes with a free 4 months just because they want to give it to you. You know, they're so kind over there. So kind. And NordVPN can be used on up to 6 devices, which is great. You can have it on your phone, your iPad. You can have it on your computer, your other computer, your pool computer, your bathtub phone, any possible scenario, Nord has got you covered. And you don't have to be afraid about, oh, what if I don't like it? Then I spend all that money. Nord has a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you don't need to worry about a thing, baby. If you want to grab our huge discount off our NordVPN plan, you can go to nordvpn.com/brain. That's nordvpn.com/BRAIN. Listen, it's the scary season. There's people all out there everywhere, not just wearing masks for trick-or-treating, but trying to get into your personal data. Don't let them do it. NordVPN. Thanks.
Speaking of Final Destination, I'm very excited. I'm going to, this is not a sponsored thing. I'm going to, what's it called? Halloween Horror Nights tonight.
Tonight?
I'm excited to see, I'm
Oh.
excited to see what happens.
Where are you going?
See what all the mazes are about.
I was going to say, don't say that because people will go there, but they won't see this episode yet.
They won't see this.
Are you going to Universal or Knott's Berry?
Universal. I've never done Knott's Berry before, and I really want to, though. So, for those of you who don't know,
Not Scary Farms?
There's Not Scary Farms. Yeah, there's a theme park called Knott's Berry Farms, and during the Halloween season, they do Not Scary Farms, but it's all like unlicensed, like random made up horror stuff. So it's not.
Some of the guys, there was like a guy that does it on TikTok that does like the sliding on his knees thing, and he went viral and has like 1 million followers or 2 million followers now.
There's all these people that run around with like these metal knee pads that make sparks, and they'll just run up to people and then slide. It's so cool.
So he used to do TikToks.
It's all licensed.
Yeah, he used to do TikToks where it would like be a friend filming him getting people. But then he was an attractive man, so he started getting groupies that would follow him around, and I don't think he can do it anymore. I think he might have quit or something like that.
It'll be fun though. I'm really interested to see The Last of Us.
With
With the Halloween Horror Nights, they do all of these like walk through like maze kind of things or whatever. You're just walking through a thing. It's like a haunted house, but they have different themes. So they had like Stranger Things, and then this year they have Last of Us, and they always have like classic ones like killer clowns in space and like random stuff like that.
Are you gonna dress up?
No, I'm just gonna go as normal.
Put on a green wig. Say you're me.
Oh, yes. I'm going to a Halloween party soon, and I need to figure out what to wear.
Oh, we have ours done. Our costumes are downstairs already, baby.
Already?
Yeah. We originally we were going to do Shaun of the Dead, so I was going to be Shaun, weirdly enough. And then Evelyn was going to be Nick Frost's character. So we were just going to get like really shitty looking outfits and just get what they were wearing. But then we pivoted and we were like, let's watch Jurassic Park for Halloween. Ooh. So I'm going as Sam Neill's character and she's going as Laura Dern's character.
You're going as a Barbasol can.
And she's going as a DNA strand.
That would be a really cute couple's costume, actually.
Dano DNA.
That's so funny. I'm thinking of maybe going as Nicole Kidman from the AMC thing.
Fucking heartbreak feels so good in a place like this.
It feels so good. So good.
Damn.
Yeah, because I was thinking and I was
you
like...
just need a power suit then.
I know. It could be easy. But I don't even know what's relevant currently. I don't know. I have no idea.
It's not about what's relevant. Jurassic Park's not relevant right now.
That's true. But I was like, what do I do?
I
haven't dressed up for Halloween
What's your favorite horror movie?
Ooh, favorite horror movie. That's a good question. Well, there's two different schools of thought here. You know? There's the school of thought of what's my favorite horror movie is and which one is the scariest or scared me the most at the time when watching it. Because if we're going that way, Hereditary was the first horror movie in a very long time that like genuinely scared me in recent years. But my favorite horror movie.
What like vibes with you?
Man. Well, it's not even really a horror movie. The movie Disturbia with Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, I guess it's more of
like a
thriller.
nostalgic. It's more of a thriller.
Evelyn and I watched that this year again, actually, like earlier in the year.
It's fun.
I like that movie.
My favorite horror movie is probably The Ring. I love The Ring. The Ring is
that's a good one. That's like one of the only American remakes of something that it was actually good.
Yeah. I've never seen the original. I should watch the original.
It's fine. I'd say it's probably a little better, but they haven't really stood the test of time well. The Grudge movies, no, they've stood the test of time. The second Grudge movie has like time travel in it, in a weird way, kind of. But you don't really need to watch the first one. You can just watch the second one, and it's really good.
God, what if horror movies started going down the fucking like Marvel route with like multiverse stuff? That would be so funny.
I mean, The Nun and The Conjuring are the same universe, and Annabelle.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
It's not multiverse; it's like a connected universe. But
did you go and see The Nun?
I haven't seen the first one, but we watched the second one, and it was okay.
Is that the one that just came out?
Yeah,
in theaters. Yeah, all of those movies, they have a diehard fan base. They're not for me. I've watched a lot of them, and I'm like,
They benefit heavily from being connected to better franchises. Like The Conjuring's great, especially the first two. But I think the problem is that the aesthetic is cool. Like The Nun themselves is a really cool design. And it's like Evelyn's bar for horror movies is always like, if it has like one or two good scares in it, then I'll consider it not a failure. But it has things like that, like I think it's Conjuring 2, like the nun comes across the wall, like the shadow, and then it matches up with the portrait, and then the hands come out like holding the portrait. And I'm like, that's clever. That kind of shit is cool.
That's fun.
And the new one has that like magazine scene where all the magazines like flick until it lands on it. And then you watch the scene in the cinema and it's like, I already saw this in all the fucking trailers that played way too much.
All of the trailers.
And also the scene goes on a little too long and I don't care.
That always sucks when it's like, and I get it, obviously, but it's when like the coolest shots are in the trailer.
Yeah.
Then it's like, oh, well, the rest of this is just underwhelming now.
Dude, well, my favorite horror movie ever is Paranormal Activity 1, which a lot of people will think like, interesting. Like the Paranormal Activities are kind of a joke now because the later ones sucked. But the first three are fucking great. And that first one, I knew nothing about. I was 18, I think. And with my like past ex-girlfriend at the time, and we were like, let's go watch a movie tonight when we get to college. So we were like driving from where we lived to college that night. It was like, we'll go watch a movie when we get there. And we heard about Paranormal Activity, and I was like, I know nothing about this. The only trailer I saw was on the way there, and it was the one of the green screen, or the night vision of all the people reacting to the movie. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that sounds like fun. I like horror movies. And then we went and watched it, and I was like, this is all the exact fears I had growing up. Like, we had like mice in our ceilings that would scratch right above my bunk bed, so I was terrified of that, like creaking pipes. It was all the like bump in the night kind of shit, and I was terrified of it. And then watching that movie, I was like, I'm way more uncomfortable watching this than I thought. And I literally, it's the only horror movie I watched that I couldn't sleep the night of watching it.
Yeah. I should rewatch Paranormal Activity because I haven't seen it in years.
Oh, you should watch it in the theater room. There's some like cool, like deep bass shit in it that I hadn't heard before.
I do remember with all those movies of people being like, it's all real. It's real. It's like, yep, of course.
Yeah. Well, that was when it came out. It was like leaked and it was pirated everywhere. And then that kind of put it in front of people's eyes. And then people were like, there's 3 different endings. And so people were like, I saw this ending. What ending did you see? And the one at the end of it that was in the theaters was the one that was like inspired by Steven Spielberg, I think. He like saw the movie and was like, you should change the ending to something like this. But the other ones are like the police showing up and shooting her, or she just like walking out of the house or something like that. I can't remember.
What's Evelyn's favorite horror movie?
The Thing.
Oh, I think I knew that.
Have you seen The Thing?
Yeah.
That's a great movie. One. What I like about that movie is that it doesn't waste its time. You know how sometimes there's like alien movies where they show up, it's like, what is it? Is it an alien? Is it a ghost? This movie's like, get the flamethrower. kill the fucking dog.
Just immediately, just kill it.
Yeah.
Please.
I like that.
That's great.
But yeah, what other, there's so many horror movies that I would love to talk about. I think The Exorcist 1 is like my second favorite because that affected me a lot, but we finally got to see Exorcist 3 recently. I've never seen the second one, but The Exorcist 3, people are like, it has an amazing jump scare in it. And then it was on Prime, but the only way we could watch it is in Spanish. So it was never, the English version of it never existed. And I was like, is this a Spanish movie? Like, I know nothing about it, but it wasn't. So we finally it finally came out on Prime or something that we were able to watch it. So we sat down one night and watched it in like the theater room, and God, there's one scene in it where it's like just a long hallway shot. I don't know if you've seen it, the one where like the guy comes out with the hedge clippers.
No, I haven't.
It's like a side shot of like a hallway, and she's like at her desk at the end of it in a hospital, and she's just like working away. And then you hear a noise, and there's like 2 police officers near her sitting down waiting. And then there's a noise, and she like gets up and she's walking around for like 3 minutes, and you're like, oh God, something's going to happen. She goes into a room and gets jump scared. And then it's just by like a guy like with mental difficulties in the hospital, and he freaks her out. And then you're like, oh, okay. And then she goes back out, and it's the same shot again. And you're like, uh-oh. It's not over. And then she goes back and she's like sits down, and then the cop that was there leaves, and you're like, oh, something bad is going to happen. And then you hear more noises, and then the cop comes back, and you're like, oh, we're safe. And then she gets up to like go into a room to check, and then the cop leaves again. You're like, something bad's going to happen. Oh God, that's the room that the bad guy is in. And then she comes back out and she's like, oh, nothing was in there. And she locks the door. And then as she's walking away, the door opens and the guy just like walks out after her side profile and like with hedge clippers off screen. And there's like this really weird sound that plays when it happens.
Does it hit well?
Yeah, it's like the best jump scare I've ever seen. It's so good because it builds it up and then it's like, oh, jump scare. Oh, we can relax. And it's like, oh God, it's not over because the shot, it's like teaching people how to read cinema because you're like watching it and it's like the shot repeats again and you're like, oh no, something bad's going to happen.
I haven't gotten hit by a jump scare in a while, honestly. I went and saw, what did I see? Oh, I went and saw Talk to Me, which I really liked.
That's a great movie. Yeah.
It was really, really good. And there's a couple of jump scares in that. And I went to see it with a couple of friends, and they all got by the jump scare. And I was like, oh, you guys didn't feel that one coming?
I know, right? I have that sometimes where me and Evelyn are watching stuff, and then it's like everybody else in the theater like jumps, and we're like, idiots.
Yeah, because there's so many, like, nowadays, so many of the false jump scares where it's like, the jump scare is going to happen, and then it's like, oh, relief. And then right after that, the jump scare happens. So it's like you're preparing for one of the two, where it's like, okay, the jump scare is about to happen, and if it doesn't, then it's going to happen immediately after.
Yeah, and the other thing that I think Smile did it a lot, or maybe a different movie I'm thinking of. Maybe it was The Nun, actually. But the new thing to do is to expect a jump scare, and then the shot's set up like somebody going to the fridge, side profile, you open up the door, it blocks the shot, and then that's like, oh, jump scare is coming. But now they don't do them anymore, and the character just keeps walking along. And it's like, you can't really do anything with them anymore because everyone expects something.
Yeah.
So it's like, it doesn't happen. It's like, well, I knew that wasn't going to happen. If a jump scare happens, it's like, I also knew that was going to happen. So you're kind of like prepared for everything. And I don't know how you play off of that to be like, the jump scare didn't happen. I think that's why the Exorcist one was so good, because it did that. And then it came back to the same shot again. So your brain is immediately like fight or flight mode again.
Yeah.
And then she checks the room that the bad guy's in. Nothing happens. She comes out and then locks the door. So you're like, well, now nothing can happen. And then it happens anyway.
Give the false sense of security, baby.
So good.
Oh, speaking of horror movies, the greatest horror movie of all time,
Shrek 3
coming out. Yes, Shrek 3, the greatest horror movie of all time, is coming out at the end of the month.
Oh, FNAF AF.
Yep. I'm hoping I don't think
it's not going to be good. Any of the trailers we've seen don't make it look good.
It would be so cool if it was.
I know. I really want it to be good. I would love to see that actually take off, but I would love to see it not be as like goofy as I think it's going to be. Yeah. But I think it's at odds with like, I think general audiences need something really serious and scary and gritty to actually make it take off, but they're making it for the people that like FNAF, which has a sillier kind of streak in it. It is scary, and the games are actually pretty cool when they hit hard, but yeah, I think the movie's going to be... Anytime I've seen the animatronics like get up and move around, I'm like, it works in the game, but now when you're up and like moving around and like you turn to the camera, it's not scary.
Yeah.
Because there's something about the lighting or something about the trailers every time I see it that's just not letting the animatronics hit as hard as they do in the game. Like the first game is great. The lighting and the way they like turn to the camera when you're not looking, that kind of shit slaps.
Now that would be, I imagine they're not doing it this year because they usually do it the following year, but that would be a good like Halloween Horror Nights thing.
Yeah.
Is a FNAF one. That would be great. I think that would be really good.
Yeah. Well, they got to put those animatronics to work.
Yeah. We'll see what happens with it. I'm curious. Comes out the same day as my documentary. Just saying, two equally horrifying. So scary.
I think it's going to do numbers because it's FNAF and it always does. And they said that they made their budget back already based on like pre-sales and everything. Their budget was like just north of 20 million, which is pretty decent for a movie of that caliber. But also it's like, usually when stuff is that and it's like single location, everything, it gets very limiting. I don't know. I do want it to be good, but I don't have high hopes for it.
I don't have high hopes for it at all, unfortunately.
And people are like, oh, but the animatronics, and like, there's a whole debate about like the eyes being goofy looking, and then there's like people saying like, oh, it works really well because in the game they look like that. And I'm like, I get that in the game it's a certain way and everything works a certain way and it looks cool, but that's the stuff that you have to adapt for movies. You can't just take what's in the game and then put it in a movie and expect it to be the exact same thing.
Yeah, because when you're playing a game, it's like you're suspending your disbelief in the environment. All of the environment is different.
Yeah.
Where in a live action movie, it's like, okay, well, that just doesn't look true to real life, though. That just looks goofy and weird. I really hope that, because I don't think it's going to be good on paper, but I really hope that it's not boring. Because I'm already expecting it to be like kind of bad and goofy, but fun and enjoyable in that sense of like, this is kind of shit, but it's fun to, watch, and it's like, haha, this is
it could become one
great.
of those like cult classic movies.
Yeah, but I just really hope it's not boring.
Yeah, I think that's my worry as well, that it's going to just be trope after trope. Like the characters all act a certain way and do the things that you're expecting them to do, and who knows? It'll do $500 million at the box office and get 45% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yep.
An audience score will be 89%. I'm locking this in no, 86. There's a thing, Evelyn and I always try and guess Rotten Tomato scores for movies. Mm-hmm. And she's usually like bang on, especially with horror, because it's like, she's like, most horror movies are like a 60 something, like 67, and then the audience is like 80 something. And I never noticed it until we started checking them, and I was like, that's so accurate for so many of them.
Now, I'm going to offer a piece of advice that I don't mean as an insult to the Five Nights at Freddy's community. If you are wanting to see this movie, but you're not a diehard FNAF fan, I would say maybe don't see this movie opening week because I feel like going to this movie opening day, opening week, there's going to be a rowdy crowd there.
All children.
Yes. It's going to be a rowdy crowd that's going to be very loud anytime any of the animatronics come on screen.
Oh, that's going to be totally the fucking Captain America shows up in Infinity War moment. Yeah, it's Freddy!
And anytime a YouTuber cameo happens, it's going to be nuts.
Yeah. I wonder how many of the because despite what people may think, we don't know anything about any cameos in it. Other than the trailer with Corey.
Yeah.
And Dawko and like John Wolfe and 8-Bit Ryan are all like on the wall in the trailer. Mm-hmm. They're like employee of the month guys.
Yeah.
But I don't know how many are going to be like in person like Corey appearances. Mm-hmm. I'm weirdly excited to go watch it because I think past me would have been a bit more cynical about it and a bit more like horror movies should be this. And now I'm like, I'm just going to turn off my brain, eat popcorn and fucking laugh and have fun.
The movies are back, baby. The movies are back.
Nicole Kidman has never been happier.
Exactly. People were so nervous about streaming services killing cinemas, but I think that it's coming back around now where people are excited to make watching movies more of an event again.
Well, streaming services kill themselves.
Yeah, a bit. Yeah.
More than anything else. Mm-hmm. Fuck them guys.
Fuck them guys.
Fuck them kids.
I just cutting back real quick to the Five Nights at Freddy's. The opening night, the outfits that are going to be happening are going to be absurd. And I can't wait. I'm
excited to see he's right behind me energy for opening night and all the TikToks that are going to get filmed and they should make the biggest fucking event out of this movie.
I mean, this goes as a blanket statement all the time, but especially for this, please just be nice to the people working at the cinemas.
Yeah.
Don't make their jobs harder because it's already going to be a shit show. Just be nice to people. Thank you.
Hey, if they get through Barbenheimer, they can get through FNAF.
That's true. I felt so bad for everybody working at the movie theaters for that one. But
yeah, I like to think that FNAF stands for Five Nights as Fuck.
5 Nights as Fuck.
Friday night as fuck, bro.
I like calling it FNAF at Freddy's.
Friday night at Freddy's.
Friday night at Freddy's.
Yeah. I think they probably didn't get the biggest budget for the first one, but now that it's like doing well, the second one I think is going to be huge.
Oh no.
But I want to see them do
I didn't even think about that.
I want to see
gonna make a sequel.
I want to see more pop-ups happen. I think there's a Fazbear's Pizzeria in LA right now that they did.
Yeah.
They like converted a store. I want to see more of that.
Yeah, I like experiences. They're fun.
That's what that's what going to the movies is all about. You don't want to go to the movies just to be like, I could have just watched this at home. Which is what it fucking feels like going to the movies here, because the cinemas suck. Sound systems are terrible. Screens are bad.
I wonder if from this they'll be able to make like a proper Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria that stays. That's not just to promote the movie. Because I could see
Just buy out Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, there's no way that it wouldn't do well. I think it would.
Yeah,
maybe only in places like LA though, and like London and stuff like that.
Look, if Jimmy Buffett, R.I.P., can make it work,
R.I.P.,
then anybody can make it work. You just
That's
gotta like make Fazbear's Pizzeria targeted towards divorced 40-year-olds.
Yes. Just pop a Hawaiian shirt on, Freddy, and it's good to go.
What's the age rating for the FNAF movie?
PG-13. I saw a tweet about it today. I was like, it's PG-13, which means that they're allowed to say one fuck. Who is saying fuck?
Fuck Nights at Freddy's! Whenever they do the fucks, like the Guardians of the Galaxy 3, it's like, open the fucking door! Like, that kind of one is funny, but I want to see just a fuck you!
Fuck you!
Freddy shows up and it's like, I'm gonna eat your toes! And it's like, fuck off, Freddy, you fucking loser!
Well, that's... If they throw in a fuck, it's just gonna be it's gonna be like a, fuck this.
Yeah.
Like a
Or
quick
like,
one.
Somebody's gonna be like, fuck
well.
this. I think there's a stipulation that PG-13's fuck has to be not aimed at someone. Like, you can't you can't call someone a fuck. You can't say sexual fuck. It can't be like fuck off or anything like that. It has to be like lighthearted enough that people are like, hee hee.
Yeah.
I want Freddy to say fuck. Let Freddy say fuck in the FNAF at Freddy's movie.
He just, get fucked. Time to get fucked.
I'm gonna fucking kill you.
It's so funny.
Or it's like,
Foxy's fuck time.
yeah, I was gonna say he calls him like fuckies. I mean Foxy, get in there.
Fucky.
Or Freddy just shows up and he's like, ooh, woo, fucky my Wookie.
Oh, God.
But that's what I hope happens. I hope the movie is like so much in one direction that it's like so absurd that it's good.
Yeah.
But like we said, I don't want it to be boring where it's like, it's not appeasing the fans because they changed too much. And it's not appeasing casual audiences because they didn't change enough. And it's just kind of left in this weird middle ground that no one cares about, but all the like diehard fans go nuts for.
Until you just brought it up a couple minutes ago, I hadn't thought about sequels at all.
Oh yeah, baby.
Which definitely going to happen. And I think what's going to happen is this first movie is going to do very well because, it's got the giant fan audience, and then also people are going to go and see it just to see...
Money.
It's like, oh, Five Nights at Freddy's, yeah, I'll go and see it. But then the sequel, I think, will bomb. In my opinion.
It might, but I wouldn't rule out how feverish the Five Nights at Freddy's fan base is. Like, still.
That's true.
They will give that franchise money until their dying breath. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
I would really like it to be like R-rated If I were to like make the FNAF movie, it would piss off all the diehard fans because they want it to be just like the games. But I would make it like super visceral and vicious, and like Freddy is like really scary and intimidating, not just like I'm a regular animatronic.
I've always thought about that with Star Wars. I would love for, and they'll never do it because it's Disney, but I would love for them to make a Darth Vader movie where he's just like brutally killing people.
Oh, that one comic panel, I don't know what it's from, but he says something like, all I'm surrounded by are dead men. And it's like, oh, and then he just fucking goes to town on like 20 dudes. That Darth Vader, they don't look, Vader means daddy in Dutch. So Darth Daddy going to town on 20 dudes?
His mask just gets like lifted up. Yeah. He's just like his dry ass lips.
Oh. Let me suck on that lightsaber. Oh, my lightsaber's growing.
He's really using all that force choke. He's real good at it.
The force pull. Really. Darth Vader could jerk you off from 20 feet away.
God, he could. He really could.
But yeah, a really cool, like, really dark, violent Jedi movie would be cool. Like a awesome Sith movie, like Darth Revis or something like that. I want that.
Yeah, it'd be so sick. It's not gonna happen because Disney, but you know, whatever. It's fine.
Yeah, I wish they would just be like, this is not for kids. Don't watch this. This is bad. And just like fucking... I hate when companies have so much money and they make the blandest shit ever.
We have to just wait 100 years or whatever until it goes into public domain. Then we'll have it.
I can wait that long.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Is it 100 or is it 50?
Uh-huh.
I think it might be 50 with a chance to renew. And then 100 is like, okay, you're done.
Yeah, after 100 then you're like stop it. Just no more. Second presidency.
But Disney's coming up to that, isn't it?
Yeah, Mickey Mouse is like right on the cusp. He's about to get filleted.
2024! That's next year.
Mickey Mouse and Winnie the Pooh are going to be the new Freddy versus Jason.
That would be so good! Oh, man.
Call for help.
Public domain.
Yeah, scream for me. I'm going to slit you from sack to hole.
Is there anything that Disney can do to fuck with that?
No, I think Mickey's done. I think he's public domain soon for good.
Damn, that's crazy.
Because that was the thing with Winnie the Pooh. He entered public domain.
But who owned Winnie the Pooh? Was it Disney?
I think so.
But Winnie the Pooh is not as iconic as Mickey. Mickey's the whole... he's the face of the company.
Yeah, he's the fucking logo. The Disney Channel, they used to draw out his head.
Beep, 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 beep. Oh, man.
I want to...
That's going to be...
The worst part is when they go public domain and then, like, what was it? Blood and Honey? The Winnie the Pooh? Yeah. And then it came out and everyone was like, this is just really shit. Like, it wasn't even, like, bad good. It was just really, really bad.
I never saw it, but I heard it was really awful.
But I want, like... You know how South Park did Mickey Mouse and Randy going to China and smoking a bunch of drugs and getting COVID? It's like, I want that version of Mickey Mouse. I want, like, a drug bust Mickey Mouse. I want, like, Breaking Bad, but Mickey Mouse.
They remake Requiem for a Dream, or not Requiem for a Dream. They remake Train Spotting.
But it's Mickey.
With Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, just stick him into something. Yeah. I want to, like, uncut gems, but it's Mickey Mouse.
But it's a Mickey Mouse.
And I want someone to do the, like, it's him, and he's working for Disney, and he's, like, trying to make more money for Disney. So he starts, like, selling organs.
Yeah. God. There's so much potential.
Yeah. How it crossover with the Batman.
Mm-hmm.
bam, bam, bam. It's like the heavy footsteps, and then it's just Mickey. I'm vengeance.
I'm vengeance.
What are you supposed to be? Oh, wouldn't you like to know? Just starts like fucking wailing on a dude's face, like blood all over himself.
Yeah, Mickey doesn't use any weapons. He is a weapon.
He's a
himself.
bare knuckle boxer for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I watched what's the movie? Bare knuckle boxing. Brad Pitt, Scottish or
Snatch?
Irish. Yeah, I watched Snatch the other day. Is his accent real? You know what I mean? Authentic?
Kind of. It's a very specific type of accent in Ireland. For like the traveling community. And it's probably closer to accurate than it isn't, but it's still not great.
Okay.
But I do think
better.
that he did a good job in that movie, and it's very fun to watch.
Off the top of your head, if you can think of one, who has done the best Irish accent?
Oh.
Who's played the best Irishman?
I don't know, actually. I think Tom Cruise played an Irishman at one point.
Did he really?
Yeah. I can't remember.
I feel like he would not do a good job.
I think it was the movie him and Nicole Kidman met each other on. And then they got married. And have you ever seen that picture of her after she got divorced and she's like out in the sun and she's all happy? It's like, fuck you, Scientology, I'm free. I don't actually know. It's usually Irish people doing good other accents, but I don't know any people that do a good Irish accent. I can't think of any off the top of my head.
We'll never know.
I'll never know. I mean, I would like to know. People send me suggestions. I want to see. I think I tried looking that up for a video one time, but I have a fucking stupid brain that can't remember what I did. Dude, to pivot the subject completely, I am one of those guys now that just bought a 3D printer.
I've been thinking about it. I don't know how to do anything, but it seems like you can make cool stuff.
I didn't realize, because I got it for miniatures that I want to like, I follow people on Patreon that they like make this stuff in ZBrush and you just download it and print it yourself. I have a thing printing right now. It's a mimic chest from Dark Souls.
For the 3D printing community, do you care to share what kind of 3D printer you got?
So I got an Elegoo, which the reason for their name is stupid, and I'm not going to talk about it now. But I got an Elegoo it's a Saturn II, and I didn't realize that there's two types of 3D printers now, which is filament, which is the spool of cable that goes in and burns it onto the plate. But there's also resin, which does it backwards. So it goes in and then raises. So you have a vat of like liquid resin and the plate goes down into it. And then there's a UV plate underneath that flashes and solidifies the resin onto the plate.
That's so cool. Is that what you have?
Yeah. So because I got it for miniatures that I want to like take off and then paint. The filament printers, maybe they are good, but I think they always leave that kind of like 3D layer look. But the resin ones are much better they can like anti-alias their edges and they can get really smooth and really, really detailed, which is more important for 3D miniatures.
Is this your first print? So
I got it. I set it up in one of the rooms in my house, and then I started Googling because the smell wouldn't go away. And apparently the stuff that they send out can be very toxic. And I didn't realize, so I haven't done that. Now it's in a shed in my basement with a gigantic industrial fan blowing out into the yard to get rid of the smell. And I have not a rebreather, a respirator.
Like a respirator?
That I use for like spray painting and stuff anyway, just so I'm not breathing in any paint. And I set it up down there. I tried to print the mimic thing, didn't work. And I was like, okay, I'll try again now with supports and everything, because you have to put it into a software and add like support things that you break off. And I did that, still didn't work. I just had a fucking pile of resin that was hardened to the film on the bottom that I have to scrape out. And I was like, well, I kind of fucked up the film doing that. So I redid that. And holy fuck, was that an annoying experience to do. I did that today.
Well, because also any of this takes hours and hours and hours,
Took
right?
3.5 hours per attempt. And I didn't know it wasn't printing until it's done. Because you can't see the plate because it doesn't rise up far enough.
Yeah.
So I did that. And then I scraped off all the shit and I poured out the resin back into the thing with a funnel and a filter because you can't like wash it down a drain because it's very toxic. You're not even allowed to dispose of like paper towels with resin on it until you like cure it. So you have to like leave it in the sun or put it into a curing station because it's toxic and it doesn't cure until it hits UV. So it's like liquid all the time. So I did that and I was fucking around with shit and I replaced the film on the bath and it had like 4 screws to take off. Then you flip it. Then it had 12 more screws that you have to take off. Then you flip that again. Then it had like 24 screws that I had to take off to release the film because it all has to be like taut like a drum head.
Yeah.
And I did that today and then I put it back in and I was like, I'm going to change the settings. I think my exposure time because with a filament one, it does it on the top down and it just prints on the plate.
Yeah.
But this one is gravity. So it prints onto the plate. But if you don't expose the UV long enough, it won't separate from the film. So it just sticks to the film instead of sticking to the build plate. So I had to like set the thing to like, okay, I'll set it for like a 25-second burn onto the plate or 45 seconds or something. I can't remember what settings I did. But I took settings online. I did a test print that took like 19 minutes. That was like an actual like test thing to be like, it has a bunch of holes in it. It has a bunch of detail and you can see how good your printer is. And I did that and that worked. And now it's printing the Mimic again. And I hope after 3.5 hours that it'll be good and it'll be done. And then I bought a bath that you put them into and you fill with isopropyl alcohol and then it spins and it washes all the excess resin off of it. And then there's a curing station that you put it in and it's just a plate with like UV lights in it that hardens all the resin. Because if you touch uncured resin, it's bad for your skin. It can really irritate you and give you a rash and make you allergic to it. So I was like, I learned a lot about 3D printers in the last 4 days, and it's so fucking annoying, and I got so close to just throwing the whole thing out, and I got so sick of it. But if it works, it's going to be cool, because then I don't have to rely on just, like, Games Workshop prints or...
Yeah.
But
that's sweet.
I also bought the Dark Souls, or not Dark Souls, the Bloodborne board game, because I had the card game, but I brought the board game that comes with figures that are resin printed. And then I can like prime them and paint them myself so I can paint Bloodborne characters. Dude, it's so sick.
That's fun.
And I got so... I don't know if you saw them on my Instagram story, but I started like doing like higher level like painting. And I was like, dude, these are the best ones I've ever painted. I'm a good painter. I can do this.
How many figs have you painted now?
I painted a lot of like ultramarines, like the little guys, just to get practicing. Then I painted some Tyranids. I painted 3 of those. I've painted 2.
Do you have little magnifying glasses or anything?
No, but I want them. I want them so bad. Because when I'm painting, I'm like, I can't really see this. Also, it might be contributing to my neck and back pain because I'm just hunched like this all the time. But I do want a set of glasses. I want the ones that like the dentist has. That you're just like...
Yeah!
Like, I can so see the filament. I can see the grain.
That'd be sweet.
But I start using, like, I think I talked about it last week, but like the contrast paint method. And I'm like, oh, I'm getting better. I got a whole set of speed paints from the army painter. I have airbrush paints that don't need to be thinned down for them. I'm about to hit fucking 5th gear, baby.
Oh, baby. You got to get the glasses like the guy in Toy Story 2.
Yeah.
He's got the little, like,
I'm him. I got like 3D printed things from Etsy that were like Hollow Knight and Hornet that's in like the Silk Song game. And I got those and I was like, you kind of used a weird paint on these and I didn't really like it. So then I like primed them and painted them again myself and now they look sick. And I was like, I can do it now.
I can do this.
I don't need instructions. But I really got into doing all that shit because... We had, now he's over it so I can talk about it. We had BB issues this week, which were I mean, you and I talked about it in private, but he I didn't want to talk about it publicly until we had like answers and he was out of it and we were kind of worried about him and just in case anything happened to him. But we know he got diagnosed with diabetes and he has all that. And then like a week ago, we came downstairs. Well, I came downstairs and I was like, hey, babe. And he didn't really react. And I was like, oh, weird, but his diabetes, his glucose might be off. And then I walked into the kitchen. He wasn't reacting to anything. He was just like staring into the distance. And I was like, are you okay? And then Evelyn finished her stream and she came down. She's like, how is he? And I was like, I don't know. Check him out. He's a bit weird. And then she was touching him and he had like a really high temperature. And I took like the baby thermometer, like the ear one. And I was like, I don't know how accurate this is going to be for a cat. And I put it in his ear and he had a 40-degree temperature, which was like 104.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's kind of bad. So we called the vet and then we brought him in and he had to spend the night at the vet. They were checking him out and then said he had a fever. All that stuff passed. And then the next morning they were talking about it again. They're like, we'd like to keep him in another night. He's not eating. He wouldn't eat anything that we had. We would like pick him up and put him down and all of his legs would just kind of like fold or knuckling as they call it. Where he would like...
How old is he again?
He's 8. So he's like...
BB's 8?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he's like... I think he's like close to 50 years old in cat years. But we'd like put him down and instead of like putting his paws out, he would like fold them and then he would just kind of like slump over and we were like, that's not good. So we brought him to the vet and we're like, they were checking his glucose a bit more. He got one of those tags on him that people get. It's actually a tag for people that you put on and we were just scan with our phone. And they were doing that with him. And then they were like, we want to send him to a clinic that's 2 hours away. And we want you to bring him and get him checked out and get more tests done because they're specialized. They have MRIs, they have CAT scans, they can do all these other specializations. So we brought him there and we drove for like 2 hours, brought him there. We're worried about him. And then they were like, okay, we want to keep him overnight. And we'll do all of these tests on him. And then after 2 days, they called and were like, we don't think he has anything like, he doesn't have like a brain tumor or anything like that. None of the blood work.
Yeah.
We did, they did like x-rays on his back and his hips because he got really thin. So we were worried that he had like skeletal issues. He didn't have anything like that. They took like, they had to like take a needle and go right into his bladder to take a urine sample and right into his liver and take a liver sample. Those were all fine. He might have had a liver infection because cats get those really easily because the way their pipes are oriented. So
man.
they didn't know what was really wrong with him. They think that apparently something had happened. I can't remember what it's called. It's like neurodiabetes something, that when they get diabetes, it can affect their brain. It basically like spreads to their brain and their neurotransmitters aren't working properly.
Yeah, you were telling me that and I was like, I didn't know that diabetes affected your brain at all.
Same. So it was like affecting his back legs, where his back legs didn't really work anymore and they've atrophied a lot. But now it like started affecting his front paws and the fever was probably because of diabetes related stuff. And they sent us home. They gave us antibiotics. He's on those. So he spent like 4 days, 4 nights and 5 days away from home. And we were like stressing the fuck out. I was like, I don't really want to work right now. I would just not be good company in a video. So I was like, I'm just going to paint and watch The Simpsons. And that's all I did. But now he's back and finally we're like relaxing a little and Evelyn like spent 2 nights on the couch with him to be like, let's just make sure you're okay. We have to like keep checking your glucose and scanning your thing to get like a curve to see where he is. And he's not out of the woods yet, but he's doing better. So now we're finally at a position where we're like, okay, you're fine. Nothing like terrible happened to you. So now we can talk about it.
Is he back screaming like normal?
Oh, is he ever? The vets kept being like, he's very vocal. We're like, oh, that's not normal? Okay. And they were like, no, most cats don't really talk this much. And it's probably because every time I come downstairs, I'm like, beep! And he meows at me. Me and Evelyn constantly talk to him, so I think he's learned how to chat.
Yeah. Hi.
Yeah.
How's it going?
So I'm like,
Hello.
I didn't work really this week, and we were super stressed out, and I was like, okay, we're fine now. Everything's good. We can relax.
But it's good to just have that little relaxation, do a little painting.
Yeah. I don't know if it was that relaxing, but it definitely occupied my mind. and we went
Yeah.
to see like Saw 10, which actually was good.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen it, but I've heard that it was good, and I was like, really?
I was like,
This?
I was like, I'm not gonna go watch this until it's like out on streaming. And then people were like, the reviews are really good for this. I was like, there's no way Saw 10 is good, but it was.
It takes place in between like 2 and 3 or something, right?
1 and 2, which I didn't know until we left the movie.
Okay.
There's unless you're like a diehard fan of it or watched them recently, I didn't understand where it took place. I thought it was chronological, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
he's just back and didn't die from cancer, but doesn't he die in the 4th movie? And then I was all confused, and then we looked it up, and it was like, yeah, it's between 1 and 2.
Okay.
And there's some stuff that doesn't really make sense, but I'm like, this is actually good and had like good characters and actually made me care about people, and it wasn't just the stereotypical like you all wake up inside a building and you're all gonna die kind of vibe, which is pretty good for Saw, but I think it's the best one since Saw 2.
I need to watch both of them before I go and see it, because I haven't watched them in a few years.
I don't think you need to.
But I watched, it was like 2 years ago. I watched like 1 through 5 or something like that.
I think we did that a while back as well, yeah. I like them. They're stupid.
Yeah, they're fun. They're dumb. They're stupid.
I think they have...
Kind of fun though.
It's like we watched Fast and the Furious 10 recently as well, and we normally like those movies, but that movie is fucking dog shit.
God.
Is
Is it the last one?
No, 10 is being split into 3 movies apparently.
Why?
It doesn't even say that it's like a trilogy. It doesn't say part 1. It just ends with no resolution. It's like, what?
Okay.
But I like those movies, like Fast 7, like Fast 5. Like a couple of them are fun. And it's one of those movies where I'm like, I don't really care. I just want to watch dumb shit. And then this one came out and I'm like, this is just bad. This is shit.
I love Tokyo Drift.
That's a
Tokyo
great
Drift is
movie.
real fun. It's so much fun.
I love that dude's accent. I thought it was fake until I heard him talk outside the movie. And I'm like, you talk like that?
Oh, is it not fake?
I mean, it's probably dialed up.
Yeah.
Maybe
It's a fun movie though.
it is fake. Maybe I'm wrong.
We'll never know.
But it's one of those accents that I like imitating, so I had fun watching that. And it's nice to see different scenery.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
It's a great time. I love that. I love da 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 da.
I wonder if you know how they live in Tokyo.
Tokyo drift.
So iconic.
Well, friends, we've been leaking all day long now.
Yeah. I've made an absolute mess of myself. I need to go get changed.
We've had to start sitting on ShamWows while we record, just because we've
Oh,
been leaking so
Shama,
much.
I got a scrub daddy.
I did too.
I was joking, but
I did get a scrub daddy. I like it.
it's a good product.
It does a good. It does a great
That's
job.
exactly what it says on the box.
Yeah, he
Scrubs your daddy.
He's got a little face. It's got a little face on it, and that's like just a little bright spot in my day. And I go, look at you. You got a little smiley face.
Got a guy.
That's nice.
But they're infringing on my copyright of Sunny, so get back the fuck off, Scrub Daddy.
Oh,
Even though they
shit.
came first and made way more money than we'll ever make, but back the fuck off. Bet your
that,
mascot doesn't
Scrub
even
Daddy.
have a name. Scrubby.
Yeah,
But he's not
Daddy.
even a daddy.
despicable. I'm gonna go and throw out all of my scrub daddies now after this,
No, you don't have to.
and refill my mug with top of the morning coffee.
You should do that, but thank you.
I should.
Anyway,
Well-
thanks for watching, everybody. Brain leak.